Hello, everyone, and welcome back. If you enjoy mysterious deep dives, you are in exactly the right place. Today, we're bringing you a high-quality HG explainer that's absolutely going to make you rethink your entire nightly routine. The 11-day sleep mystery. I mean, it sounds like a science fiction movie, right? But I assure you, it is pure science fact. So let's jump right in.
Okay, let's dive into this. Just imagine this scenario for a second. What would actually happen to your brain, your body, and, well, your overall grip on reality if you just stopped sleeping completely? And I don't mean pulling a simple all-nighter or even staying up for 2 days. I'm talking about 11 straight days. It sounds literally impossible, doesn't it? A terrifying, almost unthinkable premise. But the crazy thing is, this actually happened in real life, and the medical results? Absolutely terrifying. Today, we're going to explore exactly what happens to the human machine when we deny it sleep for that extraordinarily long. But hey, before we look at the timeline of sleep deprivation, we really have to understand what we're actually depriving ourselves of. Sleep isn't just some simple timeout for your body. No, it is a critical, non-negotiable survival function. I mean, think about it. We can survive weeks without food. We can even survive days without water. But without sleep, the body's systems just begin to fail, and rapidly. Your body uses this crucial downtime to do so much. It repairs damaged cells, restores depleted energy, organizes your day's memories into actual storage, and maintains your emotional balance. Without it, the brain literally starts losing its grip on reality itself. Let's move to and see how this builds across a very clear timeline. We're going to track the rapid, chronological deterioration of the human mind over the first 3 critical days of sleep deprivation. Step by step, hour by hour, we'll see exactly how the absence of this biological necessity systematically dismantles our normal, everyday functioning. All right, Section 1, 24 hours awake, the initial decline. Now, a lot of you might have experienced this stage during college exams or maybe a super tough week at work. We all know that familiar feeling, right? You feel incredibly tired, kind of irrationally irritated, and just mentally sluggish. And this brilliantly illustrates the shocking scientific reality of that first 24 hours. Your brain functions remarkably similarly to someone who is actually physically drunk. I'm serious. Your reaction time becomes noticeably slower, your decision-making skills absolutely plummet, making you highly prone to poor choices, and your working memory starts to weaken significantly. You wouldn't drive to work drunk, right? Well, driving after an all-nighter puts you in almost the exact same impaired cognitive state. And remember, this is literally only the beginning. Moving right along, we hit day 2. 48 hours awake, extreme stress. So at this 2-day mark, the situation escalates from a minor inconvenience into a state of full-blown structural alarm. The tension in your body skyrockets. Your immune system drops, basically leaving you wide open to illness. Your eyes are constantly burning from the sheer lack of lubrication and rest. You'll experience severe mood swings. We're talking suddenly shifting from deep anxiety to just unexpected raw anger. But here's the most alarming point. You start seeing tiny shadows darting in your peripheral vision, or maybe you hear a phantom voice calling your name. These aren't just tricks of the light. They are the very early, undeniable signs of clinical hallucinations. Your brain is officially starting to misfire. Which brings us to the frightening day 3, 72 hours awake, mental disturbance. Okay, just imagine reaching this agonizing point. Your brain is now heavily disturbed. Your body might actually begin to shake slightly with uncontrollable tremors. Your speech slurs, it becomes unclear. You might literally forget where you're standing or what you were doing just seconds earlier. The brain is desperately trying to force your body into a shutdown mode just to save itself. So the crucial point here is something called microsleep. Because the brain is so deeply desperate, it's going to force sleep upon you whether you consent or not. Microsleep means the brain completely shuts down for a few seconds without any warning whatsoever. To anyone watching, you might still appear perfectly awake, but internally, the brain just falls asleep automatically. Think about the extreme, life-threatening danger of this if you were, say, driving a car on the highway. It's a complete automatic biological override. But wait until we hit days 5 to 7, the nightmare begins. Over these several days, things transition from being severely disorienting to truly horrifying. A terrifying descent into severe hallucinations and deep paranoia takes over. You might look up and see people standing in the room who simply aren't there. You hear clear, distinct voices having full conversations. Reality and imagination slowly mix together until they are completely, 100% indistinguishable. Scientists actually believe this happens because the severe sleep deprivation has critically damaged the brain's ability to process basic sensory information. The emotional center of your brain becomes highly unstable. Logic completely takes a back seat, and pure raw emotions like profound fear, deep sadness, and intense anger just take over the steering wheel. This stage isn't just about feeling tired anymore. It is quite literally like living inside a terrifying, uncontrollable nightmare, except you are entirely awake. And that leads us right to the climax of this medical mystery, day 11, the Randy Gardner experiment. Now, all of these horrifying symptoms we just talked about, they weren't just guessed. They were meticulously documented back in 1964, involving a high school teenager named Randy Gardner who willingly became a real-life science experiment. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the sheer, shocking magnitude of this number, 264. Randy Gardner stayed awake for 264 continuous hours without a single solitary second of sleep. That is exactly 11 days. It aggressively pushes the boundaries of what we ever thought human biology could possibly endure. As the days painfully passed and he closed in on that 264-hour mark, Randy's condition became incredibly alarming. He suffered from severe memory problems and highly vivid hallucinations. He had intense difficulty even speaking coherently. Eventually, his exhausted brain was completely enabled to do simple mental tasks, like basic counting. The doctors monitoring him were getting increasingly concerned that he was doing permanent, irreversible damage to his mind. But here is the amazing twist. Actually, it's pretty miraculous. After the experiment finally ended and he went to sleep, his body slowly but surely recovered, with no long-term cognitive damage. The whole experiment shocked scientists worldwide and absolutely proved the miraculous resilience of the human brain. This brings us to a much broader biological question. The ultimate sleep mystery. Why do we need it? So, despite all our advanced medical imaging and neurological research, scientists still do not fully understand exactly why humans need sleep so badly. We know it's essential, and we know the brain suffers catastrophic failure without it, but the fundamental complex mechanisms of sleep, they haven't been totally solved yet. To really underline just how vital sleep is, consider this highly disturbing medical condition, fatal insomnia. This is an extremely rare genetic disease where a person's brain completely loses the normal ability to control sleep. Over a period of months, they sleep less and less until they can't sleep at all. And tragically, exactly as the name suggests, it eventually becomes deadly. This harrowing disease proves beyond a shadow of a doubt just how deeply, intrinsically connected sleep is to our actual physical survival. Without it, the mind simply cannot function for long. Which brings us to our final takeaway. I really want you to let that sink in. Sleep is not laziness. It is a biological necessity. Every single night when you close your eyes, your brain is silently, diligently repairing itself in the background. It's basically running a massive cleanup operation, clearing out toxins, organizing your life, and keeping your mind stable. So the next time you think sleep is just a waste of time, or you're tempted to pull a string of all-nighters, remember the 11-day mystery. Sleep might just be the absolute most important thing, keeping your mind alive and well. So friends, tell us in the comments, what is the absolute longest time you have ever stayed awake? How did it make you feel? Let's get a conversation going down below. If you enjoyed today's high-definition explainer, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and share it so you never miss out on our upcoming mysteries. Share this with that one friend who never seems to sleep. Until next time, stay curious and please get some rest.